There is an ancient Egyptian city sitting on the bottom of the Mediterranean Sea right now. Not ruins scattered across a desert. Not fragments in a museum. An entire city, temples, statues, harbors, homes preserved on the ocean floor, exactly where it fell, over 1,200 years ago. For centuries, historians weren't even sure it was real. The ancient Greeks wrote about it. Roman poets described it. But no one could find it until the year 2000, when a diver looked down and saw something that changed everything we thought we knew about the ancient world. To understand why this discovery matters, you have to understand what Heracleion actually was. Around 3,000 years ago, if you were a foreign merchant sailing to Egypt, a Greek, a Phoenician, a Roman, your ship didn't go straight to the Nile. By law, every foreign vessel entering Egypt had to pass through one city first, Heracleion. It was the official gateway to Egypt, the customs checkpoint. The first thing every outsider saw. The city sat on the Nile Delta, a web of waterways where the river met the sea. It had towering temples dedicated to the god Amun, a grand harbor large enough to hold hundreds of ships, statues of pharaohs rising 40 feet into the sky, treasure houses, markets. And according to Greek legend, it was the very city where Helen of Troy sheltered during the Trojan War, where Hercules himself once walked. The Greeks named it Heracleion after Hercules. The Egyptians called it Thonis. For 600 years, it was one of the wealthiest, most important cities in the entire ancient world. So what happened to it? This is the part that should terrify you a little. Heracleion didn't fall to an army. It wasn't burned. It wasn't abandoned. The ground beneath it simply gave way. The city was built on a series of sandy islands and river sediment in the Nile Delta. And that sediment was never stable. Over centuries, the ground slowly liquefied, a geological process called soil liquefaction, where saturated ground loses its solidity and starts behaving like a liquid. Major earthquakes and floods accelerated the process. The islands tilted, the foundations cracked, and between 200 BC and 800 AD, in slow stages, the entire city slid into the sea. The people of Heracleion didn't die overnight. They watched their city sink over generations and they left. By the time the sea finally swallowed the last buildings, no one was left to tell the story. And the world simply forgot. Fast forward to 1996. A French underwater archaeologist named Frank Gaudio founds an organization dedicated to one goal: finding ancient cities lost beneath the sea. For 4 years, his team scanned the ocean floor off the coast of Alexandria using nuclear magnetic resonance equipment technology originally developed to detect submarines. The Mediterranean seafloor near Egypt is murky, silted, and almost impossible to see through. They were essentially searching blind. Then in the year 2000, the instruments lit up. Something enormous was down there, about 4 miles off the coast, under just 30 feet of water. Divers went in. And through the green murk and swirling sediment, shapes began to appear. Enormous shapes. A colossal stone head. Then a torso. Then columns. Then an entire temple layout visible on the seafloor. And then a black granite slab covered in ancient Egyptian script. When they translated it, the name carved into the stone confirmed everything. Thonis. Heracleion. They had found it. What they pulled from that ocean floor over the next 20 years is staggering. Over 60 ancient shipwrecks, more than 700 ancient anchors, more than anywhere else on Earth, 16-foot-tall statues of pharaohs, queens, and gods, perfectly intact after 12 centuries underwater, a 4-ton granite head of a Ptolemaic king, hundreds of gold coins and jewelry, bronze vessels, ceremonial objects, a perfect naos, a stone inner shrine from the Temple of Amun still sealed. And beneath all of it, the preserved street plan of an entire ancient city, roads, canals, building foundations all still visible on the seafloor, laid out exactly as they were when the city was alive. Archaeologists say they've recovered less than 5% of the site. They estimate it will take more than 200 years to fully excavate. Here is what keeps archaeologists awake at night. Heracleion was found by accident. It was sitting 4 miles from shore, under 30 feet of water practically in plain sight. And no one found it for 1,200 years. Which means what else is down there? The world's oceans cover over 70% of the planet, and in the ancient world, coastlines were different. Sea levels were lower, civilizations built at the water's edge. Scholars now believe there could be dozens, maybe hundreds of cities like Heracleion still sitting on the ocean floor. Entire chapters of human history, perfectly preserved, waiting. Heracleion isn't just a discovery. It's a reminder that the ancient world was far larger, far more complex, and far more connected than we ever imagined. And we've barely started looking. If you want to know about the other cities the ocean swallowed, subscribe. Because there are more, a lot more, and I'm going to show you all of them.